Well, we're really encouraged by what we're seeing from the early voting so far. And so folks at home understand, usually Republicans in many states will go in trailing when you look at the absentee and early votes combined going into Election Day. And so, for example, the numbers that we're seeing in Florida, right now, the Republican ballots returned were about 81,000 votes closer to the Democrats than where the ticket was 4 years ago. When you look at North Carolina, we're 140,000 votes better and closer to where the Democrats are than 4 years ago. And so on Election Day, when most of our voters show up, this is when we go and move in and take over.
Generally, Republicans tend to mail in more absentee ballots, and early voting tends to be more Democrat. We have an enormous amount of early vote. You've got 40 million people have voted, and in 2012, 130 million roughly voted overall. What do you think the overall vote number is going to be today? Because really, that's what it's all going to be about for you guys.
I think it's going to be big. We're already.
Have a guess at the number?
I think it's going to be big. We want everyone to show up and vote. We think there are a lot of Trump supporters who haven't been counted and tallied so far who are going to show up and want to be a part of this process today. I mean, you see it in the crowds and with the energy. Even in states, take Nevada, for example, where the Democrats have been saying they've been turning out a lot of people. We're seeing 16,000 more Republicans vote early this year. That gap between Democrats and Republicans is 2,000 better. In the state of Colorado, there are now 7,000 more Republican ballots returned than Democratic ballots returned. That's typically a blue state. We think we have a great shot to win it tonight.
So 8 o'clock tonight, you're going to see North Carolina, you're going to see Florida, you're going to start to see results from Ohio as well. If you lose North Carolina or Florida, are hearts going to sink in Trump camp, or do you really believe you have a way to flip a Michigan or a Minnesota to make up for that?
Well, and this is the great thing about the last couple of weeks, the way we've seen Republicans coming together and these numbers start moving. Michigan is a dead heat. Pennsylvania is a dead heat. And in fact, there was polling that came out yesterday that said Mr. Trump was leading in both states. You look at New Hampshire, where Mr. Trump was last night, getting the support of Tom Brady and Coach Bill Belichick. I mean, we've got to win New Hampshire now with them on board. So there are a number of different paths for Mr. Trump to get to 270. I personally think he'll run past that, and he'll do even better in the electoral count this evening. But we're pretty excited about how things look.
I think a lot of people look at the last few weeks and say they wish that was the campaign that Donald Trump had run for the last few months.
He's run a flawless campaign the last several weeks. He sees the finish line. He's running through it. He's focused. And as everyone knows, Mr. Trump is a closer.